A massive, shimmering vessel appeared in the sky, casting a shadow over cities and towns. People stood in awe, their eyes fixed on the craft as it hovered silently above Earth. News channels across the globe broadcast the event live, capturing the mix of excitement and fear among the crowds below. What was this ship? Who had sent it? Governments scrambled to respond, while ordinary people watched with bated breath. As the world watched, the vessel began to glow brightly. A beam of light shot down, and from it descended a figure. The alien woman landed gracefully, her skin shimmering like the surface of a distant star. She was tall and elegant, with long hair that flowed like liquid silver. Her eyes sparkled with an otherworldly glow, and her presence radiated an aura of calm and power. She looked around at the gathered crowd, taking in the mix of wonder and apprehension. Then she spoke. Her voice was melodic, resonating in every language at once. People of Earth, I am Alira of the Zenari. I have traveled across the stars to find connection. I come to you with a single question. Will you love me, or must I leave your world forever? Gasps filled the air. Love? What did she mean? The question hung in the atmosphere, heavy with possibility and uncertainty. Alira's words sparked a whirlwind of discussion and debate. Some people were enchanted by her beauty and grace, while others felt fear. Were aliens here to conquer? To control? Or could they be seeking something more? In the following days, Alira made her presence known. She visited major cities, from New York to Tokyo, speaking to people in parks and streets. Her message was simple. She wanted to understand humanity's capacity for love. She shared stories of her travels, describing the beauty and pain she had witnessed in the universe. She spoke of the deep connections she had seen among different species, connections that brought joy and meaning to life. Meanwhile, Dr. Ethan Cole, a respected linguist and cultural expert, was chosen to represent humanity in a direct dialogue. With Alira, he was both excited and nervous. This was a chance to bridge two worlds, but could he really convey the complexities of human emotion to an alien? He prepared for their first meeting, thinking about how to express the depth of love, fear, and hope that defined humanity. On the day of their meeting, Ethan stood in a large conference room filled with reporters and scientists. Alira entered, her presence commanding the room's attention. Ethan felt a mix of awe and determination as he approached her. They began to talk, the world watching closely. Alira asked questions about human relationships, about families, friendships, and love. Ethan shared stories of his own life, of moments filled with joy and sadness, of the bonds that connected people. As they talked, Ethan sensed a real connection forming. Alira listened intently, her eyes reflecting genuine curiosity. But not everyone was pleased. A shadowy group of people, fueled by fear and mistrust, began to organize. They saw Alira as a threat, a potential invader. They spread rumors claiming she was here to manipulate humanity. This group believed that love was a weakness, and they were determined to drive her away. As tensions rose, Alira sensed the unease in the world around her. She had come seeking love, but now she felt the weight of doubt and suspicion. In a moment of vulnerability, she turned to Ethan. Do you truly believe humans are capable of love? She asked, her voice tinged with sadness. Ethan felt a wave of determination wash over him. He knew that love was not just a word. It was an action, a choice made every day. He promised Alira that humanity would show her their hearts, that they would prove their capacity for love and connection. With that promise, a new chapter began. The world was about to embark on a journey to demonstrate its best qualities, and Alira was at the center of it all. As Ethan and Alira continued their discussions, the stage was set for a confrontation between love and fear, hope and doubt. Would humanity rise to the occasion, or would they let fear drive away a potential ally among the stars? The world buzzed with excitement and anxiety after Alira's arrival. News outlets reported nonstop, dissecting every word she had spoken. People gathered in homes, cafes, and parks to discuss the alien woman and her question. Will you love me, or must I leave your world forever? This question lingered in the air like a haunting melody. In the days that followed, Alira continued her appearances, captivating audiences wherever she went. Her presence was magnetic, and her calm demeanor soothed many of the fears that had arisen. Still, not everyone felt the same way. A group known as the Earth First Coalition emerged, claiming that Alira and her kind posed a threat to humanity. They spread messages of distrust, warning people that aliens could not be trusted. Dr. Ethan Cole, who had begun to feel a deep connection to Alira, was worried about this growing hostility. He believed in the goodness of humanity and wanted to show Alira that love could conquer fear. He knew that if he didn't act quickly, the opportunity to build a bridge between their worlds could slip away. Ethan decided to hold a public forum, inviting people from all walks of life to speak about love, connection, and what it meant to be human. He envisioned a place where people could express their feelings openly, showcasing the best of humanity to Alira. With the help of local leaders and community groups, he organized the event in Central Park, a symbol of unity and hope. As the day of the forum approached, Ethan faced many challenges. The Earth First Coalition threatened to disrupt the event, claiming it was a ploy to brainwash the public. Some of his friends and colleagues urged him to cancel, fearing for his safety and the safety of Alira, but Ethan felt a strong sense of purpose. He believed that if they could show Alira how much love existed on Earth, it could change everything. On the day of the forum, the park was alive with energy. Hundreds of people gathered, holding signs that read "Love is universal," and "Together, we stand." The atmosphere was charged with hope and anticipation. Ethan stood on the stage, watching as Alira arrived, her beauty illuminated by the sun. She smiled at the crowd, and the people roared with applause. Ethan began the forum by sharing his own story. He spoke of his family, the love they shared, and the moments that brought them closer together. He encouraged others to share their stories, and one by one, people began to speak. A mother talked about the love she felt for her children, while a soldier shared how love had kept him going during difficult times. A teenager spoke of friendship and acceptance, while an elderly couple recounted decades of memories filled with laughter and tears. Alira listened intently, her eyes shining with understanding. She asked questions, fascinated by the emotions behind each story. "What makes love so powerful?" she inquired. Ethan responded, "Love gives us strength, makes us vulnerable, but it also helps us heal, connects us, no matter how different we are." As the forum continued, the atmosphere shifted. People began to realize that love was a fundamental part of being human. They started to see Alira not as an outsider, but as someone they could connect with. Laughter and tears filled the air, creating a bond that transcended language and culture. However, just as the forum reached its peak, a group of protesters from the Earth First Coalition arrived, waving banners filled with harsh messages. They shouted that Alira was a danger and called for her to leave. The crowd grew tense, and for a moment, it seemed as if fear would overshadow the day. Ethan felt a surge of determination. He stepped forward, addressing both the crowd and the protesters. "This is not a time for fear. It is a time for love. We are here to show Alira that we are more than what divides us. Let us not let fear dictate our future." His words resonated with many. The crowd began to chant, "Love, not fear. Love, not fear," slowly. The protesters fell silent, unsure of how to respond to such unity. Alira, moved by the display of humanity's spirit, stepped forward. "I came here seeking love, and what I see today is a glimpse of what is possible. Together, you can build a future where love prevails." The forum ended in a moment of triumph. The crowd erupted in applause, and Alira felt hope blooming in her heart. She knew that humanity had the potential to rise above fear and embrace connection. The journey was just beginning, but together they could create a brighter tomorrow. After the successful forum in Central Park, Alira felt a renewed sense of hope. She had witnessed the power of human connection and the depth of emotion that filled the hearts of Earth's people. The stories shared had touched her deeply, and She realized that love could bridge the gap between their worlds. But she also sensed the tension that remained, especially from the Earth First Coalition. In the following days, Alira and Ethan continued their discussions. They met in a peaceful garden surrounded by flowers and trees. The bright sun shone down, creating a warm and inviting atmosphere. Ethan wanted to know more about Alira's home, the Zinari, and the customs of her people. Alira, in turn, was eager to learn about Earth's culture, art, and history. As they talked, Alira explained that her species had traveled the galaxy. For centuries, seeking connections with other intelligent beings, we believe that love is the highest form of understanding, she said. It is what drives us to explore and connect with others. But I have often found that many worlds are filled with fear and distrust. Ethan nodded, understanding the challenges she faced. On Earth, we have our struggles, but we also have moments of incredible kindness and compassion. We have seen both sides, fear and love. It's a part of what makes us human. Alira watched him intently, her eyes filled with curiosity. What do you think humanity can offer the universe? She asked. Ethan thought for a moment. We can offer our stories, our art, and our willingness to learn. We create music, paint, and write because we want to express our emotions. These things connect us to each other and to the universe. Inspired, Alira proposed an idea. Us create a project that showcases the beauty of humanity. We can gather art, music, and stories from people all over the world. Then, we can share it with the Zinari and show them what love looks like on Earth. Ethan's eyes lit up. It's a brilliant idea. You can call it the heart of humanity. People can submit their art, songs, and stories, and we can compile them into a presentation for your people. Excited by the plan, they began discussing how to organize the project. They reached out to artists, musicians, and writers, encouraging everyone to participate. The call for submissions spread quickly, and soon, people from all corners of the world were contributing. A vibrant tapestry of creativity emerged, showcasing the diverse experiences and emotions of humanity. As the project gained momentum, Alira's presence continued to inspire people. Many began to see her not as an alien, but as a friend. Drew pictures of her, and families invited her to their homes for meals. Ethan often joined her, helping to bridge cultural gaps and allowing Alira to experience Earth's traditions. But the Earth's First Coalition was not pleased. They grew increasingly vocal, claiming that Alira was a threat to human culture and a safety. They organized rallies, shouting slogans, and demanding Alira leave Earth. The group's fear was palpable, and their hostility cast a shadow over the progress that had been made. Ethan was worried. He knew that Alira's presence was a chance for humanity to evolve, but he also understood the fear that some people felt. He decided to confront the coalition's leaders, hoping to reach an understanding. At a rally, Ethan stood before the crowd, his heart pounding. "I understand your fears," he began. "But Alira is not here to harm us. She seeks connection and understanding. If we close our hearts out of fear, we miss the chance to grow and learn. Love is stronger than fear." Some in the crowd listened, but others shouted him down. The tension escalated, and just when it seemed things might turn violent, Alira stepped forward. "I came to Earth seeking love and friendship," she said, her voice calm but firm. "I am not your enemy. I want to learn from you, just as I hope you will learn from me." The crowd fell silent, taken aback by her words. Alira's sincerity shone through, and slowly, some began to reconsider their stance. Ethan seized the moment. "Let us embrace this opportunity to learn from one another. Now, we can show the universe that love can conquer fear. Let's celebrate our differences and find common ground." As more people began to cheer, the atmosphere shifted. Alira's presence and Ethan's words began to break down the walls of distrust. A small but growing number of people stepped forward to express their support, and the rally concluded on a hopeful note. Alira and Ethan knew the journey was far from over, but they felt a renewed sense of purpose. Together, they were determined to show the world that love could prevail, transforming fear into understanding and connection. As the project The Heart of Humanity continued to grow, excitement rippled through the world. People eagerly submitted their art, music, and stories, each piece filled with emotion and creativity. Lyra and Ethan worked tirelessly to compile the submissions into a beautiful presentation for the Zanari. They envisioned a vibrant showcase that would highlight the best of humanity. However, amid this creative surge, the Earth First Coalition intensified its campaign against Lyra. Their rallies grew larger and their rhetoric more aggressive. They claimed that Lyra was not an ally, but a threat to human existence. They spread fear, warning that her presence could lead to humanity's downfall. Ethan felt the weight of this growing hostility. He had hoped that love would conquer fear, but he realized that not everyone was ready to embrace change. One evening, while reviewing the submissions with Lyra, he shared his concerns. What if the coalition tries to sabotage our project? They might see it as a way to promote you, and that could make them even angrier. Lyra looked thoughtful. I understand your worries, Ethan, but we cannot let fear dictate our actions. We must show the world what love can create. Perhaps we can invite the coalition to participate in the project, to share their views too. Ethan was surprised by her suggestion. You really think they would agree to that? Sometimes, opening a dialogue can help dissolve fear. If they see that we are willing to listen, they might change their minds, Lyra replied, her eyes shining with determination. Encouraged by her words, Ethan reached out to the coalition leaders, proposing that they contribute to the project. To his surprise, they agreed to a meeting, albeit reluctantly. On the day of the meeting, the atmosphere was tense. The coalition members arrived, their expressions serious and wary. Ethan stood before them, flanked by Lyra. Thank you for coming. We believe that this project can be a way for everyone to express their feelings about your concerns and Lyra's presence. This is not just about her, but about all of us. One of the coalition leaders, a stern man named Mark, crossed his arms. And why should we trust an alien? What guarantees do we have that this is safe? Lyra stepped forward, her voice calm and steady. I do not wish to harm you or your world. I seek understanding and connection. If you have fears, I am here to listen. Let us create a space where we can share our thoughts openly. Mark hesitated, clearly taken aback by her sincerity. What do you want from us? He asked. I want to understand your perspective, Lyra replied. I want to know what love means to you and how we can work together to build a future. That includes everyone. The coalition members exchanged uncertain glances. Ethan saw a flicker of hesitation in Mark's eyes, as if he were considering the possibility of dialogue. We'll think about it, Mark finally said. But we want to present our views clearly. If we're going to participate, we need to be heard. Relieved, Ethan nodded. That's fair. We want this to be a space for all voices. Let's share our stories, and perhaps we can find common ground. As the meeting ended, Lyra and Ethan felt a glimmer of hope. They had opened a door to dialogue, and while it was only a small step, it was a step nonetheless. Days passed, and the project continued to flourish. Artists and musicians from around the world submitted their work, each piece reflecting the beauty of human experience. Lyra was amazed by the creativity and passion that flowed from Earth. She felt more connected to humanity with each new submission. However, the coalition remained a looming presence. They began to plan a counter-event, intending to showcase their beliefs and fears. Ethan learned about their plans and felt a knot of anxiety in his stomach. He worried that this could lead to further division. Determined to counteract the negativity, Ethan proposed a joint event where both sides could present their views. If we can create a space for dialogue, perhaps we can reach those who are still afraid, he suggested. Lyra agreed. Let's call it Voices of the Future. We can invite everyone to share their stories, art, and music. Would be a chance to come together as they organized the event. Excitement mixed with apprehension. Would the coalition participate genuinely, or would they use the opportunity to further their agenda? The date approached quickly, and the atmosphere was charged with anticipation. Lyra and Ethan stood together, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. They understood that this was not just about them, but about the future of humanity. They hoped that love could triumph over fear, and that together they could create a new path for all. As the date for the Voices of the Future event approached, anticipation filled the air. Alira and Ethan worked tirelessly to prepare, reaching out to artists, musicians, and community leaders. They wanted to create a space where everyone could share their stories and express their feelings about Alira's presence on Earth. Ethan felt a mix of excitement and nerves as he walked through the park where the event would take place. Colorful banners fluttered in the breeze and stages were set up for performances. He could hear the distant sounds of laughter and music as people gathered. This was a chance for unity, and he hoped it would help bridge the divide between those who embraced Alira and those who were still afraid. On the day of the event, the park was alive with energy. People from all walks of life arrived, some wearing T-shirts with slogans of support, while others wore expressions of uncertainty. Ethan took a deep breath and stepped onto the main stage, glancing at Alira beside him. She looked radiant, her presence calming even the most anxious hearts in the crowd. "Welcome, everyone," Ethan called out, his voice echoing through the park. "Today, we come together to share our stories and celebrate what it means to connect with one another. This event is for everyone, whether you are here in support or with concerns. We want to hear all voices." The crowd erupted in applause, and Ethan felt a surge of hope. He introduced Alira, who stepped forward, her glowing presence captivating the audience. "Thank you for welcoming me," she began. "I have traveled far to learn about your world. I believe that love and understanding can bring us closer together, no matter our differences." As Alira spoke, Ethan noticed several members of the Earth First Coalition standing off to the side, watching intently. He hoped they would feel the warmth of the gathering and reconsider their stance. The event began with performances from local musicians, who sang songs about love, hope, and unity. Each performance drew cheers and applause, creating an atmosphere of celebration. Alira watched, her heart swelling with joy, as she realized how powerful human expression could be. Then it was time for people to share their stories, one by one. Individuals stepped up to the microphone. A young woman spoke about her immigrant parents who had come to America for a better life, emphasizing the importance of acceptance and love. An older man shared how his wife had taught him the meaning of true love and how they had faced challenges together. As the stories unfolded, Ethan felt the crowd grow closer. Laughter, mixed with tears, and the shared experiences began to dissolve the barriers of fear. He could see even the coalition members starting to soften, their expressions shifting as they listened. Then it was time for the coalition representatives to speak. Mark, the leader, stepped forward, looking tense but determined. "We have our concerns about Alira's presence," he began. "But we also see the power of love and community here today. We want to protect what we have, but perhaps we need to listen more." Ethan felt a wave of relief. This was a step in the right direction. "Thank you for sharing your thoughts, Mark. We want to create a future where everyone's voice is heard. Let's work together to find solutions that protect our world while embracing new connections." As the day continued, Alira joined Mark on stage. "I am not here to take anything from you. I wish to learn from your experiences and share my own. Together, we can grow stronger." The crowd erupted in applause, and Ethan felt hope blooming in his heart. Maybe, just maybe, they could find common ground. As evening descended, the park was filled with colorful lights and the sounds of laughter. People danced and celebrated, and Alira felt a sense of belonging she had never known before. She marveled at the beauty of human connection, realizing that love could indeed triumph over fear. As the event concluded, Ethan stood beside Alira, watching the crowd. "We did it," he said, smiling. "People are starting to see the possibilities." Alira nodded, her eyes shining. "This is just the beginning. We have much work ahead, but today shows that love can unite us." Together, they envisioned a future filled with hope and connection, determined to continue their journey. As they looked out at the gathering crowd, they knew that the seeds of change had been planted. With love as their guide, they could create a better world for both humans and Zinari. The success of the Voices of the Future event spread quickly across the globe. News outlets praised the gathering, highlighting the powerful stories shared and the unexpected collaboration between Alira and the Earth First Coalition. For many, it was a turning point in how people viewed both Alira and the potential for unity among different beings. In the days that followed, Alira and Ethan spent more time together discussing the next steps for their project, the heart of humanity. They received an overwhelming number of submissions, and the excitement surrounding the presentation for the Zenari grew. People were eager to showcase the best of humanity, and Alira was thrilled to be part of it. One sunny afternoon they met. In a tranquil park, surrounded by blooming flowers and chirping birds, Alira flipped through the submissions, her eyes wide with wonder. "These stories are incredible," she exclaimed. "Each one is a glimpse into the human soul. I cannot wait to share them with my people." Ethan smiled, feeling a sense of pride. "We've gathered so much creativity and emotion. I think it will help the Zenari understand us better." However, Alira's expression shifted slightly. "But what if they do not see the value in these stories? What if they only focus on the fear?" Ethan pondered her words, realizing that the Zenari might not be as open-minded as Alira. "Have to frame the presentation in a way that highlights love and connection. We need to show them that unity is possible, no matter our differences." With renewed determination, they began crafting the presentation together. They decided to include a mix of stories, art, and music, creating a multimedia experience that captured the essence of humanity. Alira's ideas complemented Ethan's vision, and they worked late into the night. Driven by their shared goal, as the presentation date approached, the excitement was palpable. Alira had invited several Zenari leaders to witness the event, creating a sense of anticipation and nervousness. Ethan felt a flutter of anxiety in his stomach. This was their chance to change perceptions, but what if it didn't go as planned? The day of the presentation, Alira and Ethan stood in front of a large screen in the park, ready to showcase the hearts and souls of humanity to the Zenari. The sun shone brightly, and a crowd gathered, eager to see what they had prepared. As the Zenari ship descended, a hush fell over the crowd. Alira felt a mix of pride and anxiety. She had invited her people to witness the beauty of humanity, but would they understand? Once the Zenari had landed, Alira greeted the leaders warmly. "Thank you for coming. Today, we will share the essence of Earth through its art, stories, and music." The presentation began with a short film that highlighted the diverse cultures of Earth. It featured breathtaking landscapes, vibrant cities, and smiling faces. As the film played, the audience could see the creativity and passion that flowed from humanity. Next, Alira and Ethan presented a series of stories. Each story illustrated love in its many forms: parental love, friendship, and romantic love. The crowd watched with rapt attention, and even the Zenari leaders seemed moved. As the final piece of the presentation, a local choir sang a song about hope and unity. The melody filled the air, and Alira felt tears welling in her eyes. This was the moment she had dreamed of, showing the Zenari the beauty of human emotion. When the presentation concluded, a moment of silence followed. Then the Zenari leaders began to whisper among themselves. Alira's heart raced and she held her breath, sure of how they would respond. Finally, one of the leaders, a wise-looking Zenari named Raylith, stepped forward. "We have seen many worlds, but what you have shown us today is unique. Capacity for love and creativity is remarkable." Ethan felt a surge of hope. "Does that mean you will consider a partnership?" Raylith nodded slowly. "We must discuss this further among our people, but your presentation has opened our eyes. Perhaps there is much we can learn from each other." The crowd erupted in applause, and Alira felt a wave of relief wash over her. They had taken a significant step toward unity, and the connection between their worlds felt stronger than ever. As the Zenari leaders departed, Alira turned to Ethan, her eyes shining. "We did it. This is just the beginning." Ethan smiled, knowing that their hard work had paid off. Together, they had shown that love and understanding could bridge even the widest gaps. Now, it was time to nurture this connection and see where it would lead. In the days following the successful presentation, excitement buzzed through both Earth and the Zenari. The leaders returned to their home world, carrying with them the stories, art, and music that Alira and Ethan had shared. The reaction from the Zenari was promising. Alira knew that building a true partnership would take time and effort. Ethan and Alira continued to work closely, discussing the next steps in their journey. They decided to hold regular meetings with both human and Zenari representatives to foster understanding and collaboration. Alira felt a sense of purpose. If we can build a bridge between our worlds, we can create a future where both species thrive, she said with determination. As they planned the first joint meeting, Ethan felt a mixture of excitement and nerves. He knew that some humans still had reservations about the Zenari. "We need to reassure everyone that this partnership is beneficial," he told Alira. "We can't let fear divide us again." Alira nodded. "Let's focus on our shared goals. We can work together on projects that benefit both our people, like environmental initiatives and cultural exchanges. This will show that collaboration is possible." The day of the first joint meeting arrived, and the atmosphere was electric. A diverse group of humans and Zenari gathered in a large conference hall, each side representing their culture with pride. Ethan stood at the front, ready to welcome everyone. "Thank you all for coming," he began, his voice steady. "Today marks a new chapter in our history. We have the chance to learn from one another and to grow together. Let's discuss our hopes and fears openly." As the meeting commenced, representatives from both sides shared their perspectives. A human scientist spoke about the challenges of climate change and how both species could work together to protect the environment. Zenari leader discussed their advanced technology and how it could help humans in their efforts. As discussions unfolded, Ethan felt a sense of camaraderie developing. People were beginning to see each other not as enemies, but as allies. Ideas flowed freely, and the atmosphere shifted from skepticism to hope. However, not everyone was on board. A small group from the Earth First Coalition arrived, determined to disrupt the meeting. They shouted slogans, demanding that humans reject any partnership with the Zenari. The tension in the room rose, and Ethan felt a knot in his stomach. Alira stepped forward, her calm presence radiating strength. "I understand your fear," she said, addressing the protesters directly. "But I assure you, my people do not wish to harm you. Come in peace and with open hearts. Let us show you that love and understanding can overcome fear." The crowd fell silent, and for a moment, the weight of her words hung in the air. Ethan could see some of the protesters wavering, their anger replaced by curiosity. "Let's have a conversation," he suggested. "We can discuss our concerns and find common ground. This is an opportunity for all of us." As the meeting continued, the protesters were invited to share their views. One of their leaders spoke, expressing his fears about losing human culture and identity. "We worry that welcoming the Zenari will change us forever," he said, his voice shaking. Ethan responded gently. "Change is inevitable, but it doesn't have to be negative. We can embrace new ideas while holding on to what makes us unique. Alira and her people can help us grow without losing ourselves." Gradually, the atmosphere shifted. The protesters began to listen, and some even voiced their willingness to consider a partnership. It was a small victory, but it marked a significant step toward healing the divide. After the meeting, Alira and Ethan shared a moment of quiet reflection. "We made progress today," Alira said, her eyes bright with hope. "Believe we can change hearts and minds?" Ethan smiled. "It won't happen overnight, but every conversation counts. We're building something special here." As they forged ahead, the partnership between humans and Zenari began to flourish. They collaborated on environmental projects, cultural exchanges, and educational programs. The bond between the two species deepened, and each new initiative showcased the beauty of their combined strengths. Months later, Lyra and Ethan stood together at a festival celebrating their newfound friendship. Colorful banners decorated the park, and people from both worlds mingled, sharing food, music, and laughter. Lyra marveled at the unity around her. "Look at this," she said, her heart swelling with joy. "This is what love can create." Nodded, feeling a warmth spread through him. Together, we are stronger. We've shown that love can overcome fear and that connection is possible, no matter how different we may seem. As they watched the festivities, Alira knew that their journey was just beginning. There would be challenges ahead, but with love as their foundation, they could face anything together. The universe was vast, and now, with a bridge built from understanding, they were ready to explore it side by side.